Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am greeting you in a way that you are watching this video. So listen, today I want to talk about isolation because honestly, I thought about it and I'm like, dang, I've never even made a video, or I don't even think I even talked about isolation. I want to say that, and I don't want it to be like, all negative or anything like that, which that's never my intentions. Like, my intentions is always to discuss what's happening in our life when we are connecting with God, where how should I put this, our relationship is evolving with God. And I just want to be transparent in regards of those things, because what I talk about is things that we actually go through. I know I'm gonna say this, everything that I talk about, like, I've pretty much encountered, so, and I want to be that beacon of light, that beacon of hope. Like, listen, this person has went through it and she's been tried by the fire, and look how she came out. So yes, and I speak about that in regards of my other videos, like, me just, how should I put this, being tried by the fire and me overcoming. And you can even look at my old videos and you can see how much how much I evolved, from where I was up until this point. And you can clearly see in the videos, and I love it. I was actually going back on my videos and I'm like, wow, like, you can tell God was involved, yes. So I want to talk about isolation, okay? Because like I said, this is, I'm going to say this. Everybody that is connecting with God, how should I put this? Stepping forward into their journey is 9 times out of 10 going to experience this. And the reason why I say this, and I say this with a surety, is because we're coming from the world. So if we're coming from the world, we have to shed those things. Like, we have to separate from those things. We have to become set apart, and the only way that we will be, become set apart is when we become isolated. We are separated from the things that our flesh crave. We're separated from the things, of the world's, pleasures and things of that nature, So, and the only way that we can actually develop the characteristics that God wants us to have is through the isolation, through the trials and tribulations, through the separation, and the disconnect and the discords and things of that nature. If you read the Bible, you see that many of the prophets, many of the disciples, they experienced many different things, and 9 times out of 10 they separated from what they used to do, and for where they used to be, and where they came from. So I want to say, even though it wasn't distinct and said they were in isolation, if you use insight, you can really tell. And I actually used one of the peoples in the Bible to let you know, like, listen, that is isolation. So yes, let's get into it. So isolation, why does God isolate us? Okay, why does he isolate us? And I put here, this usually happens early on in the journey. He isolates us and separates us because it's during that time where he teaches us how to depend on him. It's during that time where he teaches us how to hear him. It's during that time where he actually teaches us to trust in him. It's during that time where our faith really becomes rooted in him. It's during that time where our identity becomes revealed and rooted in him. So a lot of things is established in that isolation that cannot be established when we're in the world, because we're too caught up in the world. You already know how it is. You caught up with the hype, like, hey, you vibing out, like you out here. I'm trying to get to this money, like I'm out here trying to get to this bag, to this next bad thing, So yeah, nothing can be established there but bad habits. You know what I mean? Like, you already know. No good habits was maybe I want to say the only good habit that was probably established was discipline. Discipline we can establish in the world. I'm gonna say focus you can establish in the world. There's different things, but I mean, it's all still serving something else. It's not serving God. So once again, Yes. So I put here, take example of Joseph. Joseph went through betrayal, then separation from his family. That was during a period of time of isolation. 9 times out of 10, your isolation begins when you have been separated from your family, you have been separated from your friends, like, listen, like, completely cut off. That's your isolation. Like, and even then, you can, like, I'm gonna say that's your initiation, okay? Your induction of isolation. And then after that, that's when God really starts to pull you in. Like, you won't be going out to different places that you used to. You won't be talking to people like you used to, or or the same people that you used to. A lot of things will begin to, change. But the initiation is when he starts to cut off close people close people that's next to you. So yes. Okay, and now this may not be permanent. But some relationships will be permanent, where the relationship becomes, I'm going to say, severed, and it's not salvageable, and a lot of things will become revealed to you in that isolation. You will see, many true intentions and people's intentions in regards of like how they really felt. A lot of things are revealed in that isolation. I'm going to put it just like that, for you and for others. So yes, I put here, Joseph went through a series of trials, and through them trials, he grew into the king who God called him to be. Because remember, he had that dream with his brothers, and then he ended up talking and telling them what happened. And that was another thing that God taught me in my isolation. He taught me how to speak and when not to speak. He taught me the difference between facts and opinions. And what I mean by that, he said, if you're not speaking facts right now, do not share no opinions. That's exactly what happened. And I had to learn. He taught me how to keep my mouth closed, because life and death comes through the power of the tongue. So that's a lesson in isolation too. Learning the impact of what you say. So yes, it was through them series of trials and tribulations where he actually developed the character. I'm gonna just go right into it. I said he went through the character building. That was the whole process right there. Like literally from the beginning to up until he actually became a king. That was nothing but character building right there. Literally. So when we're in isolation and we're going through what we're going through betrayals, that's a part of character building too. You're learning how to be emotionally intelligent. You're learning how to be steadfast in God. You're learning how to be, I'm gonna say courageous. You're learning how to be fearless. You're learning how to be bold as a lion. Like you're being taught so many different things in the process of your isolation, because you're going to go through many different things. And through the many different things will reveal the things that you need to work on in order to be that person that person that God has called you to be. It's a process of development. That's what that is. Because what we once did in the world, we can't do when God has called us to be a king. I'm gonna say a king or a queen. So when we once was being emotionally immature, that God doesn't deal with emotionally immature, individuals. No, I'm gonna have to take that up out of you, child. Like, this is not it. Because I call you to be unconditional. I call you to love thy neighbor. I call you to love one another. I call you to love your enemies. You can't love your enemies when you have emotional immaturity. You can't do that. Because if you're still emotional and mature, you're going to be petty. You're going to be vengeful. And he says, vengeance is mine. And when we used to be in the world, vengeance was mine. Oh, okay, you petty, I'm petty too. What's up? Yeah. Oh my God, I'm laughing because it's real. It's real. So through the process, God is pulling a lot of things out of you. Literally. and working with them triggers, working with them behaviors, working with them thought processes, working with your intentions, working with your, your disciplines, working with your execution, working with so much, because when God speaks, that's what it is. I need you to go to this. There shouldn't be no consideration. There shouldn't be no fear. And even if it is fear, you stand with courageousness. You stand with fearlessness. Shouldn't be none of that. He needs you to stand like a man of valor. That's what he needs, or a woman of valor. Because yes, he's building strong women too. A woman of God, a man of God, a child of God. And how can we speak the word boldly and courageously if we're not a man or woman of valor? Come on now, let's go. So yes, I put here, he went through the season of leaning and trusting in God, separation from family. Do you know what it's like to be separated, completely separated from all your family? And some of you may know what it feels like. I know what it feels like. So, it was a period of my time, of my journey, when I related to Joseph so well. So well. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This is crazy. So if you're suffering betrayal from close family members, if you're suffering from separation from family, I strongly recommend that you go read Joseph. That's over there in Genesis. So yes, listen, I know what it feels like. And to be exact, sometimes it feels like the rug is pulled from underneath you. You'd be like, yo, how do I find my ground? How do I find my footing? But that goes into leaning on God. You learning how to trust him. You learning how to truly believe in his word. Just you really becoming one with him. Yeah, you learning your true identity in him. So you no longer will be codependent on your family or whoever you're close to. Because a lot of the times, a lot of people are codependent on, their family or their significant other, and they feel lost without them. That's why you have some people, they feel a sense of loss when they lose somebody real close to them, because underlying that is a codependency issue. That's how they really, really thrived. Not saying that they was pulling from them, but that's how their identity wasn't really in them. It was connected. I hope you following me on what I'm saying. It was connected. And now it's being replaced with God. So now God is going to have to teach you how to stand on your own. He's going to have to teach you how to trust in him. He's going to have to teach you and rebuild your life. This goes back to my video of when God intervenes. I need you to go check out that video, because I'm talking about when you are broken, when you are standing back up and God is helping you pick up the pieces. Yeah, go check out that video. That was a good video. But yes, when you are separated from your family completely, and the last connection was a betrayal, do you know the amount of confusion, the amount of pain, the amount of suffering, the amount of just disbelief, and just, I'm gonna say, abandonment, and just so many emotions. So this is why I say this is, at that period of time, God is teaching you so much. So when Joseph went through that was a period of him being isolated. That was a period of him, God teaching him how to lean on him. That was a period when God was teaching him how to be his identity. Because in order for you to be a king, you have to have your own identity. You have to have your own, a strong sense of being. Let's go. Yeah. So I put here, So even with me saying, him leaning on God and trusting in God and separating from family, I put him actualizing his gift through his isolation, through his separation, even though he had a dream and he was able to interpret it, to his family or whatever the case may be, he actually actualized it during that process also, because that's what led him into the position that he was able to be in. I'm talking about when he was actually imprisoned and he was interpreting dreams. This is where that actualization of your gifts, when you're alone and you're in your valley, you're in your journey, that's when everything starts to really, really develop. Because now you're leaning on your gifts. Now your gifts is being developed. Yes. Yes. Let's go. Now you have time to see the impact of who you are, what God has created you for, which is your purpose, and your gifts. Now you're on the journey that you're supposed to be on. So it's until I set you apart when you will actually be on the journey that you're supposed to be on. So I put here, if we use Joseph as an example, we can see there were many times he could have turned back because of the trials and tribulations. Like, there's so many times he could have turned back and said, you know what? I'm going to just go back and deal with the hatred of my brothers. Because I'm out here by myself. Not technically, but I'm going to be realistic with you in regards of the way that we think as humans. We be like, yo, I'm out here by myself, even though we got God. But in a realistic way of how we see in the world, like, I'm out here by myself. I'm going through these trials and tribulations, like life or death type of situations. Like, bro, like, instead of me being on this wave, I can just go back and just, yeah. And that's what I mean, as in, there's going to be times where you'd be like, yo, this is deep right now. Like, should I turn back? Yeah, you would consider it. Not saying that you're going to make that decision, but it's going to be a time when you actually consider it. I remember my moment when I considered that. I'm like, yo, this is deep right now. And this is why I said I've related with Joseph so well, because I'm like, yo, this is deep. But I'm so grateful that I didn't give up, because I'm able to see the person that God has created me to be. And I just want to let you know, like, listen, it's all a part of the process. And if you feel like you're alone and nobody can relate to you, I hope this video connects to you. And you got Joseph. Go to Genesis. Okay? Okay. So I put here, the pressure is what creates the resiliency. It's through the pressure. It's through the pressure where you be like, yo, I've been battle tested. Nothing can break me besides God if he wanted to. But we talking about the enemy. We talking about the world. And this is why God said, listen, I've overcame the world. Because he literally went through everything that we went through. He's overcame the world. So yes. I put here, you're isolated because God needs you to see what's on your life. I put here, release what's in your life to allow what's on your life to prevail. He separates you because he needs you to see what's on your life. You are far more greater than what you are actually doing in your life when you're not connected to him. We are mediocre when we think that we doing something. Nah, it's nothing compared to what God can do when you're connected to him and you're staying focused and you're trusting and you're doing the work to shed what you need to shed so he can shed but prune you. So yes, I put here, once again, when God intervenes, that is a good video. Because like I said, that literally talks about when you are actually broken and God is helping you put back your life. Like, that was a good video. So I hope this video was edifying. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and comment. Remember, you're not alone.